All right. Aloha and welcome to those of you who are watching this on YouTube or Instagram in the future. You are tuned in for one of our Paradigm Shift Central Conscious Creator work periods. This is where we get together as a team of conscious creators to be able to help assist each other in being able to help just get clarity on content creation, community management, building Patreon, creating Discords, TikTok, YouTube tactics, all that really exciting stuff to be able to help show up, level up, and accelerate the shift in consciousness. My name is Brendon. And if you guys are new to this community, please feel free to click the links in this video or in my profile. If you're on Instagram, you can connect to our Discord server of conscious creators. And if you would like to get involved with these conscious creator meetings that we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you are welcome to learn more about becoming a leading member. And you can do that by joining on my Patreon at the $11 level monthly membership. And you can also get lots more stuff to be able to help support you as a conscious creator. If this is perhaps your first time tuning in, I would encourage you to check out some of the past meetings that we have done. There's a lot of value in that gets into more specific details that we'll kind of be alluding to within this one. But nonetheless, this one will still have a lot of value in it as well. And for those of you who are tuned in, just want to be able to give a special thank you and aloha to our fellow conscious creators on the team who are with us here right now. So just switching over to panel view, we've got myself, Brendon, we've got Anomal, aka Josh, we've got David, we've got Oleg, aka Opvious, and we've got Pisces, Mellisa, and we've got Kristina, Morphic, and we've got Mellisa, also Synergyhealer as well. Perfect. All right, team. So with that said, again, the creators featured within this meeting, you'll be able to find those links in the YouTube info and tagged on Instagram as well. So be sure to give them a follow. And with that said, we're going to dive into a couple different topics right off the start. And then from there, I'm going to pass it around. We're actually going to check in with David. Last meeting that we had on September 8th, we were going over some Discord and Patreon and community building tactics. And Oleg also has some stuff that they want to be able to go over as well. Some of the people here are just kind of here to listen. We got about an hour to be able to go through this, so we'll keep an eye on the clock. But again, for those of you who are tuned in, expect to just be able to get a lot of value out of this, maybe take some notes, especially if you're looking to be able to just learn a thing or two about conscious media creation. So again, starting off with the why. Why are we doing this? Again, we're creating conscious media to be able to help accelerate the shift in consciousness, to be able to help inspire people to plant seeds, to help them see the difference that they can make in the world, to be able to help lead them back to the wisdom of their own heart. In hand with this, we also want to be able to create a relationship where we are able to create ongoing conscious media as something that could potentially be a full-time job, a full-time commitment, something that we can continue to devote our attention to over time. This is part of the objective. That's why, again, with creating this project, we're here to be able to help over 100 conscious creators be able to become self-sustained in doing what they do for a living. I've been able to do this through building my Patreon, and now I'm showing up and being able to help others in teaching them how to be able to do the same thing based on the stuff that I've learned over the last 10 years that I've been doing this. So before we get into the stuff with David and Oleg, I wanted to just be able to hit upon a couple things real quick. I wanted to be able to hit upon just to be able to give you guys a little bit more just kind of like structure and clarity in terms of how I can help you as a conscious media creation coach for those of you who are leading members, as well as just some additional tips and techniques and tactics that I've learned over the years relative to being able to sometimes have to deal with comments or interactions online that may not always be favorable, and how to be able to maintain a healthy energy space for ourselves so we can maintain our focus. Basically, like how to deal with trolls is basically what I'm talking about. And then from there, we're going to talk about a little bit more with Discord. And again, Discord is a chat platform, and as well as Patreon. And again, Patreon's where people can join with monthly memberships to support artists. And that's what we're encouraging the creators here in the community to do if they feel called. So in terms of being able to just give you guys a little bit more clarity on the relationship that I'm here to offer you guys as a conscious media creation coach, we've got more people joining in and onto the team as a regular. Having these meetings here is a great way for us to just be able to consolidate our focus, and you guys get to show up at these meetings, bring me any sort of particular questions, let me know ahead of time. That's one way that we can engage. If you guys do ever have particular questions that you need to ask me on the side, a lot of you are already familiar with this, but maybe for those of you who don't know, I'm just kind of clarifying. Feel free to DM me on Discord. Discord would be the place that I would encourage you to DM me. If you DM me on like Instagram or anything like that, that's fine. But Discord just helps me keep things organized. And message me on Discord. Like, use me if you need to be able to get some feedback, some brainstorming, and some clarity. So if there's something that you're working on that's just like, hey, you know, like I can feel like there's maybe a couple tweaks that I need to make, or maybe there's just something that I want to be able to get some additional reflection on or perspective on, that's where you can come to me and you can ask me and you can send me content that's maybe like in production, or you can send me a link for your Discord or your Patreon, ask me to review it. And again, that's where like the value that I'm offering is essentially like my brain that I've like intuitively developed over the years by becoming an expert in this field, to be able to like give you guys access to that. So like if there's certain things that I can see, you guys have access to me, and then I'll tell you what I can see. And within this relationship, I'll never tell you guys like just like straight up like, oh, you should do this. I'll always just kind of give you guys some perspectives and some advice on how you can be able to kind of like do things in a certain way. Ultimately, whatever choice you guys make at the end of the day is yours. Now, within this relationship, I just want to be able to invite you guys to let me know what type of relationship you would want to be able to develop that works best for you. For example, if you guys want to be able to give me a heads up and just be like, hey, Brendon, like if you see me creating content and if you see that there's maybe like something that you have some immediate feedback on, please feel free to let me know like on the fly type thing. So that means if you guys create a new TikTok video and if there's something that catches my attention, not always something that would be a critique, but maybe something that would just be like, hey, like this was really great, do more of this, let me know. And I can keep an eye open for your content. But at the same time, if there's specific content, bring it to me. But other than that, I won't necessarily go out of my way to critique your guys' content unless you tell me to. So like, that's just because, again, I've got a lot of people to be able to manage. But in that sense, like, I will not be like, I'm not here to just kind of like always be like looking at everything that you do. So if you do want me to be able to review things, simply bring it to my attention, simply bring it to me. And that's what I'm here to be able to do. And again, just being able to develop a relationship. And I will never give you guys some form of advice without giving, like, I will not give you some sort of like critical observation without giving you some sort of like alternative path that you can go on. So that's kind of just like the relationship that I'm here to be able to develop with you. Again, you can think of me as like, you can call me a coach. You can, again, just allow me to be like, you know, like, again, I've kind of talked this before, but it's like, this is a lot of like, just kind of me growing up being like a hockey coach and things like that. So you can think of me as like an assistant hockey coach that's here to just kind of give you instructions and techniques and just be able to help you develop your skills in some way or another. So just want to be able to clarify that. And again, I look forward to being able to just like continue to work with you guys, and I'm excited to be able to help you guys grow. And with that, I'm just going to kind of transition and just give me a thumbs up. Is that cool with you guys? That all makes sense? Does anybody have any questions about that real quick before I move on with that? No, I think it's pretty clear. Okay, cool. So moving on to the next thing. This is a very, very important topic, especially for those of you who are already well established on platforms such as TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. And again, and that's basically about the importance of being able to maintain a healthy relationship online with our community and dealing with people who may not necessarily be fans of our content, but are still engaging with it. Over the years, I've had to deal with trolls. I've had to deal with people who, for whatever reason, were just triggered by my content for this or that or something like that. Over the years, I've essentially made a rule where basically I say, like, don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Like, that's basically like my simple answer with that. I know there will be times where if you put up something that you're really, really passionate about and someone comments on that and it's like they're attacking you personally, you have a natural reaction to be like, oh yeah, you want to fight about it? You want to fight about it? Let's do this. Let's do this, right? Like that's like, it's like grade school recess all over again. It's like, oh, I'll show you, right? Like it's a natural instinct. I understand it. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you pick and choose who you're doing that with. There may be times where if someone like comes up to you and says like, hey, like this is like my opinion on it and things like that, like you can use your discernment. But at the end of the day, you have to pick and choose what your content is holding space for and understand that your content is not for everyone, period. And so you get to decide who your content is for. And so if people show up on your posts, specifically on TikTok, and they leave antagonistic comments, that for me, again, goes against my community guidelines that I've created, not just for our Discord, but also for my TikTok as well. Where basically if someone is like insulting or berating or antagonistic, I'm like, yeah, that's against my guidelines. Sorry, that's not what I'm here to hold space for. And I block that account right away. Like this is just like standard protocol, because again, especially if you're going to get like, you know, flash forward and suddenly you've got like a viral video and you've got all of these comments coming through and everything like that. You want people to be able to expose themselves as like the antagonistic trolls that they are. And again, I'm not saying everybody's a troll. Some people aren't consciously trying to be trolls, but at the same time, if they've got such a polarizing view that they feel they have to go out of their way to push their belief on you and things like that, like you don't have to hold space for that. So when you see those comments and things like that, preferably, especially on TikTok, just like check where the comment is coming from. And especially if you see the post is not even following you already, just block that post. Just block that profile, because if they're not following you again, first of all, they won't even know. And second of all, it just prevents them from even accidentally coming back to your FYP if they happen to see you there in the future. And again, the reason you're doing this is not because it's just like, oh, you know, like I don't want to have to deal with those people, but it's about being able to do it as an act of self-love for you to be able to continue to focus where you need to be. You are not here to deal with other people's reactions to your content if it's something that triggers them. At the same time, this is all going to be relative. Everything that I'm telling you is going to be relative. There may be some videos that you make that are intentionally polarizing. There are some creators, they literally do this, where they literally create content that is literally holding space for chaos because they want people to be triggered. They want people to kind of like argue with what it is that they're doing. A lot of you may even recognize this with like Pandora Sparks, who's like within our community and stuff like that. She's a part of our team. She's kind of like a covert within the team. She posts all about time travel and stuff like that. And you probably see her videos and people are just like, oh, this is ridiculous. But she's like, she wants people to see it because she wants people to be triggered. At the same time, you don't have to do that, because at the end of the day, being able to make sure that you're removing those profiles and removing those comments is also you maintaining a healthy space for your community. And that is what your priority should be. Your priority should be about maintaining a healthy space for your community. As we've all heard before, it only takes one bad apple to ruin the bunch, so to speak. So even if somebody is just kind of scrolling through, you know, you want it to be a pleasant experience. You want it to be a rewarding experience. You want them to, even if they happen to, which isn't common, go through the comments and not have to like look through it and be like, oh, like that's like, like, you know, like that. You want them to be like, whoa, this is really cool and supportive. So this same concept applies to your Discord and applies to other aspects of your community. So I just wanted to be able to hit upon that importance. This has been a practice that I've been doing since day one. Block and bless is basically what I refer to the term. So, you know, if someone comes in, block them and they're on their way, and that's okay. Pick and choose. You don't have to block all of them. If there are some that you feel you want to respond to, pick and choose. But especially when you're going viral and you're getting a bunch of those every single day, you don't want it to get to the point where you get afraid to open up your TikTok because you're like, oh crap, like what's going to be there today? Like I know some creators, they literally, this is an experience for them. They're just like, it's actually like causes me anxiety because I feel like I'm being attacked on the regular just by existing. So again, I've said this before, the boundaries you fail to set are the energies you continue to allow. So set those boundaries within your social media space, not just for yourself, but for you to be able to do it as an act of self-love so that you can continue to focus on the content that you are here to create for the people that you are here to create it for. And if people are leaving antagonistic comments, your content is not for them, period. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that, guys. I just want to be able to tell you that's how I've been dealing with it. And I give you guys permission. I encourage you guys to do that and to really be able to like set those, like, again, you know, kind of like, and again, for those of you who are going into conscious media creation and you may be new to things, I'm telling you this because it would be foolish of me to not tell you. As if to just pretend it wouldn't happen sort of thing. You're putting yourself out there. You're being brave. You're like stepping onto a battlefield when you put yourself out there on social media. And there will be people that will try taking shots at you. How do we defend ourselves? With our shields, pew, pew, deflecting, superpowers, things like that. You need to know how to be able to do this, opposed to just thinking it won't happen. And then when it does happen, being like, oh no, like you can block people from a place of empowerment. You don't have to be like, because I know some people, and I'll just say this and we'll move on to the next part. Some people, they feel that if they block them, they feel that they're letting those people win. That's one way of looking at it. I'm not going to say that's not true, But at the same time, those people want your reaction. So technically, when you block them, you're winning because they're not getting your reaction, right? And again, they probably won't even know that you even blocked them, types like that. So give me a thumbs up, guys. Does that resonate with you guys? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Nobody has any particular questions about that, I assume. That's pretty okay. So again, just kind of hitting upon that, and then we're just gonna kind of, again, you know, with the Discord. So Discord is a community chat space. I wanted to just be able to kind of like hit upon that in the same way. That's where your guidelines are super important. For those of you who may be new to this, check out the September 8th recording that we did that goes over some like super valuable insights on being able to help create a Discord channel based on what I've learned over the years. But again, essentially what you want to do with your Discord, you want to create such a strong format and structure and like healthy environment that you are not spending your time having to moderate it in a way that can become exhausting. You will moderate it. That's a normal thing. And it's not always going to be like moderating it and looking for trolls and stuff like that. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes you're just deleting comments or moving things or just, you know, taking care of business. That's okay. But at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean this to sound like it's mean, but at the end of the day, it is not your job to babysit adults. So there will be some people that could come in and could just, again, start like spewing and stuff like that. You need to make sure that like there is the parameters set up in place to be able to deal with that immediately, because that's an act of self-love for your community as well as it is for yourself. It only takes one person to kind of spoil the water, so to speak. So maintaining the healthy community is very important. Block them at the first sign of them just kind of like letting you know that this community isn't for them. Block them on TikTok. If they happen to get into the Discord, block them on Discord. And again, that's where within the Discord, you want to make sure that the structure of your community is very clear and just very concise on what it is that you're creating. And that's where, again, with the topics on Discord, making sure that they're relevant, opposed to, again, just kind of like some topics, if they're too vague on Discord and things like that, what you don't want, and again, this is up to you guys. You don't want people just kind of like casually just getting into long conversations on Discord without you really being able to see it. You basically want to be able to see everything that happens on Discord. You don't want to have to wake up in the morning and be like, oh shit, there were people talking until 4 a.m. last night. Let me scroll through. Did anything happen? And you just kind of like make sure, okay, oh, it looks okay. Oh, wait, oh no, that's kind of rude. Like, you know, you don't want to have to deal with that. And that's where even within the Discord, you guys have probably seen me do this, where even in the evenings on the Discord, I basically just kind of like close the Discord off for the night, is essentially what I do. You guys will kind of see me do this. It's kind of like a soft rule that I have where basically I say to everyone, like, good night, everyone, like wishing you a good rest, like see you in the morning. And like, and inexplicitly basically just saying like, leave the chat until the morning. The way that I've set up our Discord for our community, I like to tell people that, again, you can think of it as being a digital version of a professional conscious media production studio. So in that sense, people are walking into a place that is, again, it's a professional atmosphere and it has kind of a time schedule to it. You even see this, even on the weekends, our chat is not as active. It's active between Mondays and Friday between 9 a.m. and like 10 p.m., so to speak. But there's not too much in the evening and there's not too much on the weekends as well. And you want to be able to create the vision for people that your Discord is like a temple. You know, it's a temple, it's a space, it's a kingdom, it's a boat, it's a ship, whatever can bring forth that mentality that this is something that becomes more because of the love that they pour into it and not something that they just walk through with muddy shoes, so to speak. And so again, that's where making sure when you build your Discord to make sure that you have your first group of people in the community who are really in alignment with your vision, and then to be able to build up the foundations from that. Couple quick tips with Discord. Do not rush the process of building it. Do not rush the process of building it. Your first group of people should be people that you are already familiar with, people that you know will be in alignment, preferably people that you've known even for a little bit of time. You guys can make decisions on this on your own, but again, I'm just kind of like giving you a heads up because I just want you guys to have as little stress to be able to deal with so that you can focus on providing value for your community. And when you're having to kind of deal with the kind of like the nitty gritty things of a Discord, when it slightly like begins to lose its fortitude, that takes away focus from your other things that you are doing. So again, you're not there to babysit adults, but you can maintain a healthy environment where the guidelines kind of like monitor themselves, and the people who show up are in alignment. And again, your members, your community members help hold space for that, and they help lead by example as well. So again, you guys can bring in your own sort of ideas, bring in your own flexibility with that, but that's something that I've learned over the years, and it's something that's incredibly, incredibly valuable, and it's just like helped me continue to show up in the best way possible for the community over the years. So thumbs up. Does that make sense, guys? Is that cool? Is that valuable? Just kind of giving you, again, just giving you guys permission on that is essentially what I'm doing. Cause a lot of people are just like, oh, like, should I block people? Like, I don't know. And stuff. It's like, oh yeah, no, you should block people. Like there's like, I put up a post about that yesterday. Whereas like, for every one person who thinks you're a blasphemous cult leading waste of human existence, there's a million more who think that you're doing an awesome job. Right. So find those million more. And side note on this, and then we're going to jump into stuff, and I'll get, we'll check in with David. Be kind to your fellow conscious creators. If you guys haven't yet, please go out of your way and just be like, hey, I really appreciate your content. Because like, especially, you don't know what they're dealing with. You don't know how many trolls have left joke comments on their stuff. And that one comment will just be like, oh, thank you. That's why I'm doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, you can block someone out of love. Absolutely, Mellisa. No, that's a very, very good way of saying it. So, okay, team. I'm glad that makes sense for you guys. Again, if you guys are watching on YouTube, I hope that just gives you insight as well. And again, for those of you who may be new to creating conscious content, anticipate that will happen, and that's how you deal with it. Now you got the shield to know how to be able to deal with it. And as things continue to grow, keep doing that. Like, literally go through your comments every day and block comments every day. I block accounts every day. It's a part of my routine and things like that. So just is what it is. So, all right, let's check in with David first. And David, last time we talked, you were setting up your Discord and your Patreon, and you've got things rolling on that. So go ahead, let me know where you're at and any particular things that you're looking on getting some clarity on. And David, when you're ready, go ahead. And thanks for being here.
So thanks, Brendon. Yeah, Patreon is up, first 2 tiers, and so is the Discord. I really liked the kind of the format that you gave earlier, where you keep the public chat kind of the go-to. I set that up by I started the public chat by doing a live and inviting people or telling people on live to message me on Instagram, which really helps with the vetting of that thing. I got about 40 or so messages on Instagram that I went through one at a time and was able to verify, which was helpful. I think really my question on Discord is just kind of getting things going. Just some thoughts on that as far as discussions. In the past, I'd say that my forte really isn't in the sort of chat space. I probably lean more towards auditory things. I run my mouth entirely too much. So just getting comfortable in that and trying to just maybe give some direction in the Discord if you have to think about that.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, man, no, it's great to see that things are moving along for you. And I actually got, I got your Discord channel just open as I'm looking at this. And I was reviewing this a couple days ago as well. Do you feel like your channels that you got, like, are you still modifying those? Like, or do you feel, how do you feel about your channels?
So I feel okay about them. I really want to, I think something that I found interest in was maybe be more helpful to just have specific kind of discussion channels, like a few more for public consumption instead of, because right now it's just public chat introductions and I think book recommendations. I think I got like recommendations kind of channels and maybe gratitude and intentions, but everything else they're kind of locked down for the next chat, for the next tier. So I think maybe I'm just curious as to like maybe I should just move the discussion topics like up maybe, and then throw in specific discussion topics like, hey, this is what we're talking about here. Any thoughts on that or what maybe? So, but I'm not married to anything.
Yeah. No, you're still in that building process. I think what I would recommend is, invite some people within our community into the Discord if you feel called and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'm already in there. Like, I'm okay just kind of like taking some time out of my day to literally just engage with the chat, like if you have a particular topic, like I'll engage with it and stuff like that. And if there are some other people here, like within the community, Like you could even just like post in our leading members chat and just be like, hey guys, like let them know like, hey, I'm starting my Discord channel. It's exclusive for Patreon supporters. I want to be able to invite you guys here just to be able to help me with building the foundations, and I'm looking for just building momentum. You can be very clear about that. That's okay. But that would be like, yeah, like I think what you need right now is you need that first group of people that's like creating the engagement. Because yeah, that's usually a problem when it comes to like community engagement, is that if the momentum's not there, people are just like, well, I don't want to be the first one. Like I don't know, like I'm a little, I have to wait, right? So if it's just like, even still, like I think even still, if you're just going through your channels and creating a little like half paragraph in each channel, just saying like, this is the channel where we talk about this, and then you put in an introduction topic, and then literally even just start dropping in a little bit of value into each one. So I mean, even right now you got your book recommendation, you could literally just begin putting in links for your book recommendation. Maybe that could be something that you could film a video on. You do kind of have to pour in a little bit into each one, opposed to just like, again, you wouldn't expect the members to immediately know. And then if anything, I mean, you could even try this. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head, where you could even try it, where like maybe you have all the chats open, literally almost as like a trial phase for like the first 15 days, like just kind of like let people know, be like, hey, we're looking on building momentum, and be very clear. Like, I'm looking for people that are here to like really, really be able to support. And then even just kind of say like, you guys are going to be the first like group of like 20, 30 people. You guys are going to get full access to the chat, because what you're offering me is actually valuable to help with getting the community building. If you guys are getting value out of this and you want to be able to sign up for the Patreon, please know that that's there. Like I would hope that you would. Maybe it's going to be next month or the month after or something like that, but allow them to kind of contribute value simply by interacting. And then just kind of like see how that feels. And then that's where, like, again, like like as you start getting that momentum, then maybe you can switch it to like, that's where yeah, I think what you need to do right now is you need to make your other tiers. Like right now, as it is right now, I don't think you have the tiers by the looks of it right now, or maybe I'm mistaken.
I just have two. There's just two tiers right now. And that was another question I did have as far as Patreon tiers. I remember you mentioned on, I think it was the September 7th or 6th call, that there's like a chat thing for people to be able to interact, and you suggested maybe doing chat and then doing voice maybe later. I just was curious in your thoughts on that, as far as, because I really did kind of want to offer that as maybe a next tier, but I wasn't sure.
That app I was referring to is known as Voxer, Voxer. For anybody who wants to write that down, I would recommend that. That, again, I think for Oleg, for Mellisa, for Josh, anybody else, Pisces, that could be very valuable for you guys. Again, that's just an app that's like, it's a separate app, but you just use that for your people who are kind of like working with you at those higher levels. And then they can also send voice messages and text messages. And it's just a separate app opposed to your Instagram or opposed to your Discord. And it just helps you kind of like keep things and allow them to kind of be like, oh, this is exclusive and everything as well. Sorry, going back when I was asking before and I said like, oh, you only have 2 tiers. What I actually meant to say was 2 roles, like within your Discord channel.
2 roles.
So because as it is right now, like I think if you create your roles, then again, that's where you can start choosing who within your community that you've specifically talked to on Instagram, be like, hey, like I'm going to add you in as one of our, do you have a name for your members yet? Like, do we have a name for them? Like special leading members?
Oh, on the Discord. Well, it's the Know Yourself team chat, and the members or the tiers rather are official members, and I totally forgot the other one. They are members community and public community are the 2.
Okay. I think even just there, I think if you can figure out a more specific name, that's going to be clear, because that like see, and this is where like I've kind of created the community with this notion that like everybody's a member, but then within that we have our special members, we have our leading members, we have our Know Yourself members, or Gnosis members, or something like that. You need some sort of name there, but that's where, again, like when people join into your Discord, they can join as, again, active users or just first, members, whatever name you want to call them, seekers or something like that, give them some sort of identity. And then within the people that you've already talked to on Instagram, be like, hey guys, okay, what we're going to do, I want to be able to invite you in as a leading member, and then you're going to have access to the chat. But again, at that point, you've already created the initial engagement in the chat. Like, go through each of those channels, create your first post, basically just talk to yourself for a little bit and ask some questions. That's going to get people thinking, what books do you recommend? What movies and TV shows have you guys been engaged with? And things like that. If you choose to, I would even maybe go through some of the channels and maybe just archive them for now. Like, maybe there's a few of those there that you might want to roll out a little bit later. I don't know for sure yet. That's going to be up to you. But just to be able to keep things a little bit separate. And even with like the discussion topics, I think if you were to add in some specific discussion topics, like right now, like the core chats, some of the stuff that you got in the core chat could be moved to discussion topics. So for example, like the movies and TVs, that could be moved to discussion topic. Even the book club recommendation, that could be moved. Movie club, that could be moved. Book club discussion, I guess, would be moved as well. I think. Again, I think there's a few things there. We can talk more about that later. But yeah, I think, like, you've already got a couple people signed up for your Patreon as it is. But yeah, if you feel like you want to just be able to invite people in who you've specifically talked to on Instagram, let them know, hey, we're here to get the community going. Would you like to be able to get access as a leading member, knowing that you can join up for the Patreon later when it works for you? And just let them know and give them that grace. And then again, they're going to be able to help provide value just by being able to engage with the chat. They're in alignment with the community guidelines and everything like that. And it starts building that momentum, which again increases the value of the chat that way. So so eventually you'll create your public link for the Discord and people come in and say like, oh, this place is happening. This party started, right? Like I know I just got this visual where it's like you show up and you're the first one at the party and there's like no one on the dance floor and you're just like, cool. Like, okay, like someone's got to get it started, right? So again, invite a couple other people if you feel called, or just like let people know to DM you if they're interested. I'd be more than happy just to be able to help get some momentum rolling. And I think if you just put that, a week later and then kind of see where things are at and then decide if you want to start releasing the public link. But at that point, people can join again as leading members once they join the Patreon and things like that. So that first group, it's just kind of like, hey guys, I'm choosing you to get things rolling. Join up for the Patreon when you can, but that will give you the value of just being able to quickly invite in like 15, 20 people to just be able to get the engagement with the chat rolling. And hopefully those 15 to 20 people can be Patreon supporters, maybe this month or maybe next month. If you're clear on that, some of them might be just like, well, yeah, sweet. Okay, I appreciate the offer. And now I'm going to sign up for the Patreon for sure. So just because you're, again, offering that value and that kindness as well, while still being very authentic about it. So, but yeah, I think, let me know if that gives you a little bit of clarity on some next steps. If that's
perfect, man. Thank you. That was really helpful.
Okay, cool. Sweet, man. And yeah, and keep doing those lives. I think those lives are great just to be able to pique the interest and stuff like that. So I think you can still kind of like, again, without inviting too many people, because that's going to create a backlog and stuff like that. You don't want too much of a wait list, but just kind of here to there. You can even create a video. Again, like that's a challenge when you have so many followers. It's like, how do you create a video without getting like 100 new interests, sort of thing. So maybe just hop on like lives, or again, just even, just like direct invites and stuff like that. But yes, I think once you kind of got things moving in the chat, then you can kind of like begin inviting more people into the public space, which will entice them to be able to join on Patreon. So, okay, cool. All right. That sounds good, man. That's awesome. And keep it up. And the other thing I would just say is, schedule in, some sort of live broadcast or some sort of community event soon. So schedule in like a group, like a book discussion evening, like some sort of community Zoom call. Do that, schedule that in like 2 weeks from now and ramp up to it. So be like, hey guys, like you want to join the Patreon because Sunday night's our first book night meeting, or whatever discussion it is that you're having. Creating that schedule of your meetings is super, super important. It's going to help entice people. So
for sure.
Cool. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks, David. That's awesome. All right. Let's keep moving around here. We're going to pass it, Oleg, if we can kind of check in with you, we'll do that. And then again, Mellisa, Josh, if you guys have any specific questions, again, just let me know, or even just type it in the chat. I want to just like honor the time that you guys have if you might need to leave early or anything like that. But Oleg, go ahead, checking in with you, dude. Just give me a quick overview on where you're at and where you're feeling you might need a little bit more clarity. So go ahead, dude. Welcome.
So I sent you over my tiers that I had, and at first we kind of discussed I should go over this specific thing. So I had instant response coaching, I had feedback and consulting. I had that. It was kind of like broad, and you suggested I should make more specific. So I just during this meeting I came up with like something like instant response, brand and marketing coaching, feed in like brackets like feedback and advice, because I'm a marketing major. I graduated with marketing, and that's like something I'm super passionate about. I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in. And then I have super fan messaging access. So like definitely trying to give more time to the super fans and give them kind of that unique thing that other fans might not get. And I had spiritual support, but I feel like I could also get a little more specific with the spiritual support. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're definitely moving in the right direction. I mean, even just considering where we were 2 weeks ago, this is a lot of progress. And I know you're still building your Discord, so getting clarity on this is
Yeah.
important. And I think everything that we just talked about with David could apply to you as well in terms of your Discord, because you guys both are kind of dealing with the same bigger audience format. When you say like super fan stuff like that, what do you feel that would be with people? Like what would you expect, or what would you tell them that is, just for clarity?
So like just being able to respond to all their messages better, and maybe even having like video calls with them, or even voice messaging, or like phone calls even.
Okay. And do you feel like the super fan would be people who might just be interested in talking more? Or like do you feel it would be people who might be like, hey, like I need some advice sort of thing? Because I think what's going to happen is that you're going to get some super fans, and eventually like that relationship could easily kind of blend into what could be like a spiritual support, which should
Mm.
be more of kind of like your higher tier. So what I might do is I might even just kind of like maybe implement like what you're referring to as the super fans, as like something where that could be a channel within your Discord where they can like recommend specific videos or ask you specific questions, but it keeps it consolidated just within the Discord. I mean, if you're calling them super fans, like I don't know, maybe there's another name for that, but I don't think with that broad of a context that should be like a one-to-one thing with you, because that could be exhausting. Like what happens when you suddenly have like 50 of those and you can't reply to those? But if you have them consolidated within the Discord, that could kind of help you go through them without them having this full expectation of being able to just like constantly engage with you on that level, but saving more of that regular engagement on the one-to-one level for your higher tiers. So that's where, again, I think like at your $11 level, like I think that could come with kind of like, whether you're calling it super fan or not, but that could come with access to the Discord and one of the channels where they can recommend videos or ask specific questions for you or something like that. But then again, keeping the one-to-one stuff at the higher level. And again, I know David was probably interested in like the one-to-one stuff as well. So we'll see if we can just kind of talk a little bit more about that. But I mean, go ahead, Oleg. What do you just think just about that? Because again, I would hate to see you kind of like right now, like the super fan, what level is that at? What level would that be at on Patreon?
Oh, so I mean, I feel like know what you're gonna say. I have $11 range. It's
Sorry, the $11 is the super
yeah,
fan?
yeah, but after like hearing you
Okay.
discuss that, I really like that, having that all consolidated in.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah, yeah. Again, like I think like by becoming the $11 member, whether you're calling that a super fan, like it could be like super fan could be like the sub, like this is for my super fans, whether you're calling them super fans or not. I think you could use that term. But yeah, I think at the $11 level, when they get access to the full access of the Discord, that's just one of the channels within that, which for some people would appeal to them. Be like, yeah, you get to join our Discord where you can also recommend videos. And again, even with David, like that could be a thing too, where your people could specifically recommend videos or ask specific questions. That might be something that you'll answer for a video as well. But yeah, and then I would say just keep the one-on-one stuff more for the higher things. But yeah, I think it's important that you're kind of finding a way to be able to separate your value that you're offering in terms of the spiritual coaching and like the media consultation coaching. I mean, like, is that, am I correct in saying that? Like, because right now they're kind of like blended together. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's okay. Like that could be all in, that could be, um, hmm. I think, yeah, I'm just trying to think here. Um, I think what you might want to do is maybe even, because right now that would be at the $22 level. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that should be higher. Maybe like the media consultation should be higher. Um, but yeah, kind of going back to what I was saying, like again, I think in terms of like the spiritual coaching, I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure because I think I just need to kind of be able to like sit with this a little bit more. I don't really have an answer right off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, like I do think being able to offer things kind of like what we were talking about before, where it's like, okay, at this level, and again, this even for Mellisa and stuff like that, I'm not sure if you heard this in the last meeting, and for Josh as well, this could apply, and for anybody else, for Pisces and Kristina, where again, you're kind of like it's like, okay, like at the $22 level, then you can get access to me for coaching through text based, and then at the $40 level, then you can do voice messaging, and then at the $100 level, then you do video chat. I think if you can do that, I think that can still apply. Um, if anything, man, I feel like you should almost take the media consultation stuff and maybe just put that on the side and maybe decide what to do with that a little bit later. Because I think the majority, and I think you should take the value of that and put that into your $11 membership through your Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Because even with that, you don't want to like kind of like what we're doing when they're at the $11, they can kind of reach out to you and just be like, hey, I got some quick technical questions and stuff like that. I think, okay, yeah, I think this would probably make sense. Because again, at the $11 level, that's where people are going to, again, be joining in for your Zoom calls. And some of those Zoom calls will be related to like media production and things. And so they would still have access to you for that, but it wouldn't be like a one-on-one call about media production. It would just be a message through Discord if they have a technical question. But again, I think if you can kind of consolidate the technical support you're offering through your Zoom meetings and through specific channels in your Discord, that would take away the reason for people to kind of like need to do one-on-one video calls with you for media consultation, unless it was something that you agreed with them directly, because not everyone's necessarily going to need that. And then kind of like, that's where I think like even like removing maybe, yeah, I guess maybe the 22 could be like, if you feel that's matching your value, could be again, kind of like the spiritual coaching through messaging. And then at the 40, that could be voice. And then at like the 100, that could be video call for the people who really wanted to be able to get that value at that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Cause I think to try and like put all of the media consultation wrapped into the other stuff, I think would be challenging. But if you can just provide it through the $11 in a way that's not, taking away from your ability to serve the others, but just by consolidating it, I think that would make sense. I mean, what do you think? Is that sounding like it might make sense?
Yeah, that
Narrowing in?
definitely makes more sense. I think having
Okay.
like maybe the group Zoom calls where we discuss certain things, maybe it can lead to that kind of thing where they have those questions, and
Yeah.
good for the video calls.
Yeah. And even though the Zoom calls, like hopefully, again, similar like this, and when they have the questions, you answer it on Zoom call. And if there's another question that they have outside the Zoom call, you can answer that one-to-one, or maybe it just waits until next meeting that you do type thing. And then yeah, like the one-on-one spiritual coaching, that's kind of like outside of Discord or like in Voxer. And specifically with like people one-to-one and stuff like that. And some of those people who may be on like the spiritual, because that's the thing, like not everyone's going to be interested in the media stuff, but some people might just want the spiritual coaching, but having them separate with the different apps, I think would make sense. So yeah, okay. I think that I feel like that's getting us closer to like a format that is going to work for you. And again, I say this for everybody, like the thing with Patreon and I, opening up our minds to this idea that for each and every single one of us, if we feel called to create a Patreon, know that the universe already has like a model of Patreon that will be successful for you. What we're doing now is just kind of finding our way to get there. It's like shaving off, you know, it's like making like a sculpture. You're kind of like chipping away at things, and eventually we kind of refine things and crystallize. And then eventually you guys will arrive at a version of your Patreon and be like, damn, this feels good. This feels sleek. This feels valuable. And this feels in alignment and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I'm here to help with, is just kind of help you guys get to that reality, because it exists, right? But it just takes a little bit of brainstorming and navigating. Let's Oleg, I just want to pass it back to you, and then I want to be able to check in. I want to be able to check in with either Mellisa or Josh, or if is Pisces, or if anybody else wants, or Kristina, if anybody else wants to specifically dive into a couple things. We're almost up to the hour. I apologize that this one, we just had to dive into these ones for a little bit more detail. But Oleg, let me know, like how are you feeling clarity wise? What are your next steps? And maybe there's some other stuff we can talk about on the side outside this meeting if need be. So.
I like everything that you mentioned. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna figure out how I'm gonna separate a few things, and then I'll touch back with you.
Okay, sounds good, man. And again, basically all the stuff that I talked about with David in terms of building the Discord, I think can apply to you. So if you want to invite some of our community members to help you with building the Discord, if you feel like you want to, let us know. And and we can review your Discord. Like, I know you haven't put as much focus in the Discord since we last talked. It's up, but I know that's probably like one of the next steps that you're doing over the next week. So we'll talk more about that when it's relative. Okay, cool. Oleg, awesome. Thank you, man. All right, let's just check in. Anybody else? Just give me, who wants to just kind of like check in, and if you guys have any particular thing you want to be able to ask about, or even just any feedback. If like we can wrap things up in the next couple of minutes, but again, if you guys have any other particular questions, go ahead and let me know. So Mellisa, is there anything else? Josh, Mellisa, anything you guys want to touch base on? It's up to you guys.
I think I only had more of like a question.
Sure.
So like I launched my Discord yesterday, or kind of the collective launched a Discord yesterday, and I was interested to know how you deal with you know, in that public chat, like spiritual communication. There's this person who came in and was talking about, you know, how negative energy needs to be supported because it is a part of the universe, and talking about humility and all of this, but had a Freemason picture and was named like ID Killer 666. So it was, I couldn't tell if it was like a negative thing, or if it was kind of bringing harmony to the community, or and it was kind of like a paragraph length, and it engaged a couple of the other members in a, whether it was a warranted conversation or not. So how do you kind of deal with that type of energy entering in, or filtering it out, or even just being positive and supporting it, but telling it that it maybe shouldn't be doing that all the time, or something like that?
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Josh. Great question. And again, you know, it's relative to anybody creating a Discord channel in a community. I think for me, it's important to kind of like deal with that before it happens by creating the space that's not going to foster it in the first place. Like that's the thing with creating a Discord channel. Like, it's important to remember that, like, depending on the Discord channel you're making, everyone's going to make a different one. But if you are literally creating a Discord channel where it's just like, hey, this is a free speech zone, that's going to bring up stuff that not everyone's going to agree with. And so like, you have to kind of like step back from saying this is a free speech zone. Like this isn't a free speech zone. It's a community discussion focused with a very particular intention. And so, because otherwise people are always looking for a place to be like, hey, I've got an opinion, here it comes. And they just spew it all over the place. But the community doesn't like that. They're just like, yo, like we were in the middle of something and here you came in and just started like talking about something else. So that's where, again, you know, like I think it's very important that you be very, very mindful of who you're bringing into your community discussion, as well as the channels that you're giving them access to. That's exactly why we have things set up in the way we do, where new members, they only get access to one channel. And then within that channel should also be something that is like relatively focused. Even that channel should just be kind of like, hey guys, like this is us like talking about like creation and just kind of like welcoming people and things like that. And if they do just kind of like go off on a thing and everything like that, maybe just kind of say like, hey, like, you know, like make sure you review the community guidelines. But again, I think it has to do with just kind of like getting very clear on what your community is about and what it is for, and making sure that it's not too broad. And I feel like even just right now, with your Discord community, Josh, from what I've seen, Would you like me to give some feedback on that, just if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I know you're going to call it broad, and it definitely is. So I totally
Yeah,
understand that, but I'd
and
love any.
totally, and exactly right, because it's still pretty fresh, and I think it's great that things are like getting rolling there. I think again, I think there's like just kind of like ways to be able to simplify things and just be able to create some clarity and to be able to like figure out like who again your leading members are, and then to just begin like setting the example with them. Like as it is right now, when people join the chat, how many channels did they get access to like before becoming a Patreon or any sort of special member?
So as of now, since it's kind of like a creatively based community, they have access to the public chat when you land on it. But then also there's 2 creator chats now that are kind of like, for example, the Kingdom chat. So people can come and interact. And if they're followers of me, they can come and interact inside of there for free. The goal is to eventually, once it's fostered, to then make that only Patreon only. But as of now, I think there's 2 or maybe 3 channels they can interact in without being a Patreon supporter.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and that could be something that you could adjust as you go. Again, I think even, you know, with that person that you were talking about, I think if you have your guidelines set up in a way where like I think I read over your guidelines, and I know they were similar to ours. You kind of based them, but I think there was like a couple things that were a little bit different. One thing that I think was different that I noticed was there was a line in ours where it specifically said no, quote unquote, pushing your beliefs behavior on people. I'm not sure if you change that, but again, I would even just go back and just kind of like look at the behavior of that community member and just kind of look at it. Was this pushing your belief behavior? And if it was, like, honestly, dude, like that's the thing, guys, like going back to kind of what I was talking about earlier, if you guys are going to remove a member from your community, you do not have to tell them why. You do not have to say, like, I've had to deal with this before where it's like a person, like, I know why I was banning them, but they're just like, I don't even know why I'm being banned. Like it would actually like for me to go out of the way and be like, well, here's why you're being banned. And then it opens up a discussion and they're like, well, screw you, blah, blah, blah. Like literally, if you see something, use your intuition and just be like, how would the community feel about this? Is this healthy for the community? Is this support for the community? And if it like, use your intuition will be the most important thing. If you're just like, this doesn't sit well with me, even if it's just a bit, like, you don't want people coming in your comments, like in your chat, like intentionally leaving content that is there to trigger people, because that's just going to start debate and it's going to make the conversation just kind of like people will join in. If people join in halfway through a debate, they're gonna be like, whoa, like what did I just walk into, right? So if you see content that is like provoking debate or pushing beliefs and stuff like that, just remove them from the chat. Like, or what you can do, or is you can create another role that role doesn't have, they can see the content, but they can't leave comments in it, sort of thing. And then again, you know, if you felt like it, you could DM that person and just be like, hey, just so you know, like I set you on mute. Please feel free to review the community guidelines. Like, you can be polite about it and just be aware that, you know, like, we're not here to provoke the debate and stuff like that. Thank you for respecting the space. If you have any questions, let me know. They'll either be like, well, screw this and leave, or they'll be like, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. And they'll adjust their behavior. It's up to you, but you kind of have to pick and feel it. But yeah, like with anybody in the chat, you know, for all of us here, I think use your intuition. And if you see a comment that's just like, ooh, this is like, you can see where it's going, don't hold space for that. Don't hold space for that unless you're trying to hold space for that, or you literally create a separate channel that's like debate channel or something like that. But again, I wouldn't recommend it, like, unless it's like healthy debate channel or something like that, right? You don't want people just coming in and they're feeding off the energy of the group and it's just adding in weird energy and stuff. Like, that's where, again, you need your community to be very, very focused. Your community should not be, and I'm saying this to everyone, your community should not be, hey, this is just a channel for spiritual people to chat. That is too broad. That is way too broad, because that's a huge spectrum and people have way too many polarizing perspectives on that. That's where, again, this is a community where we focus on personal development and have group discussions and watch movies together and have Zoom meetings. Or, you know, this is a community that's focused on creation, artistic creation in a variety of media formats. So again, kind of taking what we're doing and kind of twisting it in a different way. But the more clear you get on what the community is, well, at the same time, just kind of like admitting that, like, it in order for it to be healthy, you need to make sure that it is still a free speech zone within the context of the community, within the guidelines of the community. That's very, 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 very important. Otherwise, it's just going to be creating a headache for yourself when you're sudden, like I said, you're going to be babysitting adults, and you just don't want to have to do that. And you're doing the community a favor when you set up those guidelines in the first place. Josh, let me know, how does that give you some feedback?
That answered my question. And also, you were right. I remember trying to come up with some revision of, because that specific line to not push your belief. I tried to come up with some revision. I think I got distracted, and that's why it's not included in there. So I'll have to go back and add that revision in there.
Right,
and,
right.
Maybe add more to that phrase so it can be more concise and simple in that way. But
yeah,
thank you. That helps a lot.
No problem. No problem. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm looking at the channel now. I think it's, I think what it is be respectful of others' belief systems and spiritual adventures. I think that's what it was modified to, which is still great. I think that's a great rule in itself. And the other one could literally be like, yeah, not pushing your beliefs on other people, as well. But yeah, just making sure that, yeah, like people are reading over the guideline. And again, if people come in and they do something instead of the guideline, they made that decision for you to remove them. Period. They made that choice for you by their behavior and stuff like that. And if they can't follow simple rules, then the community is not for them. And you're saving yourself effort in the long run. And you're just holding space to be able to bring in alignment with people who are like, yo, I'm here to make this an awesome space. And that's what you want. So cool. Okay, team. Any other really, really quick things, maybe just checking in, how's everybody feeling? And then we're going to wrap up this broadcast and try to keep it under an hour so I can upload it to Instagram real quick. Anybody else want to be able to jump in on anything real quick? Otherwise, you guys can always reach me through DM afterwards. That's good. Mellisa, you're doing good. Thumbs up on that. We can always talk about things another time. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. Awesome. David, Oleg, you guys are doing good. You guys feeling good? Morphic, you guys, you're learning some stuff there too. Perfect. And Pisces, if Pisces is still here, Pisces, thumbs up for you too. Cool. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Thanks, Pisces. All right, team. Yeah, okay, that's good. Let's wrap up this meeting and get things all solidified here. If you guys just want to give it like a peace sign to all the people tuned in right now and be like, hey guys, yeah, go team. All right, okay, cool. Oh wait, hold on, let me get Pisces in there. Okay, one more time. Okay, group shot. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in. And again, for those of you watching in the future, yeah, thank you so much. Check the links down below. Connect to our Discord. Join on Patreon if you feel interested. And reach out to me on Instagram if you have any specific questions about what we're creating together. So cool. All right. Meeting concluded. Thanks, everyone. Go have an awesome day, and we'll touch back here again in the near future. So much love.